We was taught to blend in, smile, take the chain off, fit in they system, take the shame off. But peace don't grow in a borrowed seedbed. You can eat their bread, still stay misled. They sold us a mirror, said look you were right, but the more we joined up, the more truth died. House split thin, kids lost sight. When you call it gain, it can hide the night. Set us apart, that's the word in the fire. Build up a home with a holy desire. If the roots stay clean, then the fruits stay right. We was made to shine in the most high side.
Come out, come out.
From among them ways,
Come out.
and walk in praise. Set apart for the righteous line. Righteous wives, righteous children, prosper by design.
Come out.
From among them ways,
Y'all raised us up.
not to trade our grace. Set apart, that's the road we take. Agricultural people, let the earth away. Eden's taught us progress, had us chasing clout. But a full bank account can't heal a broken house. More doors open, still chains on the mind. More seats at their table, still we leave behind. We was made for orchards, for fields and rain, for sons with honor and daughters with names, for vows kept strong when the night gets cold, for bread in the basket and truth in the soul. Set us apart, that's the word in the fire. Build up the home with a holy desire. If the roots stay clean, then the fruits stay right. We was made to shine in the most high side.
Come out, come out.
From among them ways,
Come out.
and walk in praise. Set apart for the righteous line. Righteous hearts, righteous children, prosper by design.
Come out.
From among them ways,
Y'all raised us up.
not to trade our grace. Set apart, that's the road we take. Agricultural people, let the earth away. We don't need they favor to be fully seen. We don't need they chains to define our dream. Pull us back home, where the covenant stays, where the children learn how to walk straight ways.
Come out.
From among them ways,
Come out.
and walk in praise. Set apart for the righteous line. Righteous wives, righteous children, prosper by design.
Come out.
From among them ways,
Y'all raised us up.
not to trade our grace. Set apart, that's the road we take. Agricultural people, let the earth awake.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Israel. Man, I want to thank you for tuning in to another Shabbat message. The title of today's message is Come Out From Among Them. You know, man, when you talk about things that I'm going to talk about today, it seems like in society, in Western culture, everybody else can talk about what their people have gone through, what their cultures have been through. But for some reason, when we talk about it, it's a problem. When we talk about it, we're up to no good. We're starting something. And I'm going to bring this out because a lot of us are deceived into thinking that we're doing a lot better when we're really a lot worse off. Okay. And I'm going to point out a lot of things scripturally. I'm going to point out a lot of things factually. I'm going to point out some things statistically to get you to see and understand what I'm talking about. Because when we look at what is happening in this country, I'm going to show you why it's very important for us to come out from among them. But what happened in this country? We were segregated. And that segregation was originally commanded by the Most High. But when our capturers, when the heathen segregated us, they made themselves the beneficiary. They made themselves the beneficiaries of our segregation. And then what did strategically happen next? Integration. What's set apart about Yashriel being integrated? Sounds like Hellenization to me. Further. So let's talk about this thing. Welcome to all in Shabbat Shalom, Israel. How to support the ministry. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on and set to all notifications. Share this video. If you would like to donate, link is in the description if you want to give an offering or a donation. I appreciate it. Agenda. Shabbat Shalom, family. Throughout Scripture, Yahweh will consistently call this people to be a set-apart people, distinct from the nations around them. From the time Israel was brought out of Egypt, the Most High warned them not to learn the customs, traditions, religion, and practices of the heathen nations because he knew those things would eventually become snares that will pull his people away from righteousness. Yet today, many believers have been taught that integration into the ways of the world is the ultimate goal, while separation unto holiness is viewed as extreme or unnecessary. Man, when you think about when our people start building community, and this past week I looked up some of the statistics surrounding, us being agricultural people in modern day, us, having farms, us having homesteads, and it's alarming. The result has been generations of spiritual confusion, weakened family structures, economic dependence, compromised identities, and people struggling to understand their covenant relationship with Yahweh. Instead of influencing the nations through righteousness, many have adopted the customs of the nation to become influenced by them. The Most High warned Israel that the nations would use subtle and crafty methods to entice them away from obedience. And history has shown that those warnings were not without reason. As a people, we have often found comfort in traditions, holidays, institutions, and systems that were never established by Yahweh, and then wonder why we continue to experience bondage in our homes, marriages, finances, and spiritual lives. Today's lessons challenge us to examine whether we have truly come out from among the nations in our heart, minds, and actions, or whether we have become comfortable dwelling in the very systems that Yahweh warned us about. Bible reference. Today I will be using the Sefer and the Amplified Bible.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave like everyone else. You were born into bondage. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Why are we here today? Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 through 11. Remember the day of Shabbat, to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. Work, Strong's number Hebrew word 4399, employment, public business, occupation, industrious, public service. But the seventh day is the Shabbat of Yahweh Elohake. In it you shall not do any work, you nor your son nor your daughter, your manservant nor your maidservant nor your cattle nor your stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heaven and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath and hallowed it. Exodus 31:13. Speak also unto the children of Yasharel, saying, Truly my Sabbath you shall guard, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am Yahweh, Mekodesh King. So when you think about us moving away from that and not coming out from among them, we are no longer a sign. And this is us doing anything other than this is a disruption to being a sign. Man, I want you to listen closely to this video. It's a compilation of some things that I found. And man, there's a lot of truth. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of recollection that needs to happen based upon some of the elders and the things that they went through. And then we look at modern day today. But this lady right here is gonna say something that should be alarming to you. And I'll play this. Let me turn this bad boy up and make sure the volume is up good.
The problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. Black Lives Matter starts there.
She said, the problem with Israel is this young black generation. She said, Black Lives Matter start there. Continue on. Pay attention, because, man, these people will tell you the truth right in your face because they know you have taken the bait which they have offered you hook, line, and sinker. Let's keep going.
We would work a lot of times thinking we was going to get something at the end of the payday, at the fall of the year. And most time, a lot of time, we didn't get anything. He would say, Carrie, I didn't make nothing, neither did you. But we knew he lied.
So you out there working thinking you're going to get ahead. This is sharecropping generation. So rather than setting ourselves apart and saying, you know what, we're going to go and do our own thing, what do? While in this land, we cut an agreement. This is something conjured up by the heathen to where instead of going free and saying, let me get the heck out of Dodge and figure this out on my own according to the will of the Most High, man, let us make an arrangement. This is the arrangement offered to our people. You're going to work these crops and we're going to give you a share, and then you can build something for you and your family and your stuff. You got to understand, man, we still to this day have a sharecroppers mentality. Meaning we think that we're going to take part in something that they've offered us and we're going to get ahead as a people. It's not going to happen. Statistically, it hasn't happened. Historically, it hasn't happened. And what's crazy is she said that they knew that they were being lied to, She knew that they were getting ahead, but the actual black family was not. Let's keep going.
What was he doing with all the stuff he could take them to the market and everywhere? And what was the worst part about it, when we would be going to this man's house, he would be on the porch. The sun wouldn't even be up yet. And he would be upset. He'd be cursing. Don't let the sun be up. He'd be cursing, calling your names and cursing and all that stuff. And we that could walk fast, we'd go up ahead of my mom and she'd bring the baby and the next baby in a mule and cart. You had to be out there working every single day. If you were 6 years old, you would be on your knees pulling grass all day by head of that chop.
I want to pause her right there. She said if you were 6 years old, you be out there pulling. Man, you think about what this public school system that we integrated our children into, how has that allowed our people to prosper? Were we better off when our own women were teaching our own children? What age do they want your children to enter into this public school system, which they tell you is good? And is that not a funnel, a wide mouth funnel that pretty much ensures that you are the labor force, not a dominant force economically in starting businesses, in ownership, in economics? No, it ensures if you go through that system, you are going to make up the labor force.
Was all day long till the sun go down, and then you be coming out the field.
You just couldn't get out of debt with him. And that was the reason he didn't want you out of debt, because you was a good laborer. You was a good field hand. He could make money off you. So, you know, I don't want you to leave. So if you owe me, you cannot leave the plantation, and your family can't leave.
So you fast forward modern day. You look at who carries the most student loan debt. We've been allowed to go get educated at their institutions. Out of all these degrees that we got, how much of that is going to profit you at Judgment Day when you're sitting at the judgment seat of a Mashiach? Let alone, fast forward to the day, are we not deceived into thinking because husband and wife in the household, or one parent in the household, has multiple degrees with student loans, got a brand new car in the driveway, $500,000 house, you know, all of this stuff in debt, are we really doing as good as we think? Don't be deceived by the illusion of you're doing good. Don't be deceived. This man said we couldn't get ahead because they was going to keep us in debt. And you got to think about us being one of the largest, or the largest consumers of non-asset or non-revenue generating things. Come on, man. Come on. You know, in our community, we the first one to take a brand new Cadillac off the dealership lot. Really can't afford it, but yet we want to put a paint job on it. Yet we want to ice it out. We want to put the rims on it. We want to put the lashes on our car. Car need a transmission, but you worried about putting eyelash. Man, they have a way of selling us something. They have a way of keeping us in debt. They have a way of thinking of allowing us to think that when we take out debt, we're going to benefit, and man, you never can escape it. It's a old crafty practice with a modern twist on it.
The plantation. So you go to the bus station and buy a ticket, and the people at the bus station will call back and tell the boss, man, I got Frank Hoover son here catching the bus. Is that okay? And then these bosses said, no, he ain't got no business catching no bus. They owe me. So he'll get you and bring you back. The only way you could leave the Delta, you could sneak out. You know, somebody come through with a car you catch a ride with, or hobo the train to get out. That was the only way you could get out the Delta. You didn't have much trouble out of the people who owned the plantation. You had more trouble out of the rider of the plantation. I mean, we didn't say no because you couldn't say it to the boss man. It wasn't even in our vocabulary. Whatever the boss man said, you had to say, yes, sir.
So we have when it comes to Hellenization, modern day today, I want you to think about celebrities, influencers, well-known people in the black community. Are these people cutting deals, or are they promoting, righteousness and being set apart? You take a Dr. Umar, you take Cheyenne Bryant, you take Cam Newton, you take a B Simone, a Jess Hilarious. You take, I don't care who you name. Are these the people that are the example in our community? Are these the people that have our voice? Why is it that, okay, these people is unmarried? These people have effeminate ways of whoremongers. And you have to look at what is driving a lot. Okay, you take Jamal Bryant, for example. Effeminate, just as effeminate as Cam Newton. And you have to think, these are the people that's having the conversations that we gravitate towards. But at the end of the day, man, are these people cutting deals? Are they getting us further in indoctrination? Or are they really telling our people to come out? So you have to look at when our community is or has somebody at the forefront. What benefit, what voice, what message is that person carrying? I talked about it before when it comes to entertainment. Maccabean period, man, the Israelites was used for entertainment. And guess what? That's one of the sectors that they allow us today to go into. And what I'm telling you, this message and come out from among them, stop asking for permission. Stop seeking their approval to do what the Most High Yah has told you. Why does it seem like out of all our, whether it be rappers, singers, all got bad deals? Look at Cadillac Records, that movie, based upon a true story. Look at Ray Charles. Look at all of our greats. They all got bad deals. But these were these celebrities. These were the people that look. And these, when you think about it, these were the people set up to be the biggest fools. You look at our athletes. Man, we got young men generating a lot of money, but they got a financial advisor that's going to rob them, a manager that's going to rob them, a contract that's going to rob them. Why is it that our population of athletes, man, we broke, 2 to 3 years after we get out the league? When you're financially the highest earning in our community. This stuff is a system. It's very subtle and it's very crafty. Other athletes get out, they've been advised completely different. They've got investments. They've got assets. You ain't got nothing but a G-Wagon with rims, some jewelry, and a house that you really can't afford. You don't have no land. You don't have any assets. It's time to come out from among them. You're knocking on the right doors when you're trying to go into arenas and genres and to take over and dominate tables where they don't want you at. Man, the heathens, man, it is their culture. It is in their DNA. It is in their nature to try to dominate wherever they go. And they're doing it today. They're doing it today. Going into other countries where these countries didn't ask for their help. And you know what? They're going to pimp out these other countries too. They're going to pimp out these other countries too. You have to think, man. I saw a video where a lady, a Muslim lady, was saying, she was talking about how our news misinterprets and misguides our people in what they believe, in saying that when they say death to America, we're told that it means death to the American, individual, man or woman or child. But really what they're saying is death to the American system, because the system is oppressive. The system will keep people in bondage. And wherever you see the eagle, you're going to see a colonized land. You're going to see a colonized people. You're going to see some people that have been taken advantage of. And you got to come out from among them. Do your own thing, man. There's some homesteading channels. Man, there's a guy that does something like homesteading clips of Arizona, where he just goes around and interviews black families that homestead and have their own stuff, and they're living completely off the grid in Arizona. There's another guy, he does it where he goes around and travels to see people overseas from our community that have come out from among them and said, you know what, I'm leaving this oppressive system. I'm going to have a better chance at leaving generational wealth, living righteousness without all this influence from their system. We have to think about this. Let's keep going.
You strong-minded black person on the plantation, and you would you said, man, you could do better than what you're doing. You could do this, you could do that. You's not going to be around long.
They try to get me up out of here. They be like, no, get him up out of here.
End up missing. What happened to John? Last time I seen him, he was going home last night. I don't know what happened to him. He never shows back up. He ended up in the Tallahatchie River. If that river ever dry up, ain't no telling what you might see.
We was the poorest of the poorest. The poorest of the poorest, because my father was dead. And we didn't have no father, didn't help my mother.
Okay. Man, let's break this down. The generation before me, they grew up with Big Mama. And this is what she's talking about. Big Mama, we don't break down what was really going on with Big Mama. Big Mama didn't have a husband. Big Mama was struggling. This lady said back then, we was the poets of the poets. That's what she said. Look today. Look statistically across the board. Look economically. And you know what? We're generating a lot of money, but we're still the poorest of the poorest. I'm going to talk about some of that today. I'm going to show a clip where this lady has talked about, she's talking about how the church has robbed her. And she's going to give a warning. That's one reason. That's one reason. Man, these heathens take part in a lot of different tax breaks, business structures, and things like that. And you know what we out here saying? Man, they need to create us some jobs. But that's not a set apart mindset. A set apart mindset is, man, I need to create my own opportunity. That opportunity needs to come righteously from the Most High Yah, His wisdom. And this is the reason why economically we're the poorest of the poor. And we think just because, like I said, you got a brand new, Mercedes in the driveway, $1,200, $1,500 car note. You got a $500,000 house. You got student loans, credit cards maxed out. Just because you got an 80-inch TV on the wall, you think, man, I'm doing good. I done made some of myself. But you're living after American dream that they coined in a book. That the 2 9s coined in a book, and you have taken that bait, hook, line, and sinker, but you're still the poorest of the poorest.
And my mother was doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, and father and mother and everything all into one. And we didn't have things. She made us panties, slips, and bras. She made this stuff for us out of sack goods. And then sometime when you was playing and you fell down and your dress went up, there's stamps 25 pounds of flour on your butt. Because then they had to wash them sacks a long time to get that ink out. And she made our slips and she made our dresses and all that stuff. See, a lot of families in the neighborhood, they didn't have to do that. See, because my mother didn't have no money to go to the store. But one thing about it, you got this breaded in your brain.
The problem with Israel is when the young
Into one. And the neighborhood, they didn't have to bread it in your brain.
Let me stop you right there. She said you was breaded this in your brain. You would program this in your mind.
You never act pitiful, and you never told nobody what you ate. My mother always said, you wear these clothes like you the queen of Sheba. Hold your head up high.
Let me go back to this, because this is...
When but this day coming? Because we was in the field working one day, and this plane there's a better day. We want to know is you can, when you walk, never hold your head down and act pitiful. She always say,
never tell nobody what
day.
you was eating. They had you eating pig
Children,
booty
there's a
hole
better
lining.
day. We want to know when. We're going through all this stuff, you know. When but this day coming? Because we was in the field working one day, and this plane came by. We were picking cotton. And we thought the plane was coming to take us away to a better land. We all was children. Run to the end of the road, and the plane didn't stop. Kept on going. We went back crying. My mama wiped our face with her apron and thing. She said, baby, there'll be a better day.
And guess what? We still have that mindset to this day that somebody other than Yahshua, other than the Most High Yah, is coming to save us. We still have that mindset today thinking that, you know, putting our faith in these wicked politicians. Snake got two fangs to bite you with. Got one on the left, one on the right. A bird got two wings, one on the left, one on the right. Left wing, right wing. Left fang, right fang. But at the end of the day, them two fangs belong to the same snakehead. Them two wings belong to the same bird. That bird is the eagle and what it symbolizes in Roman culture. Man, the only way you're going to get up out of this is to be set apart. To be independent from them. Let's keep going.
You know, and I pass that on down to my children. But the thing I got out of that, all that hardship, was honesty, work hard, treat people right, whether you get treated right or not. Treat people right.
We picked the cotton, but we never could break even or make money. This is a cotton sack. This is a 9-foot cotton sack, and we all used to pick this bag full of cotton, and when it get full, it weigh approximately 200 pounds. When I was too young to pick cotton, my mom used to put me on the back of the bag, and she pulled me through the cotton field while she picked the cotton. And eventually I started picking cotton by the time I was 6 or 7 years old. It's a tough job. It's a tough job picking cotton, because if you pick cotton, you got to be really cautious when you're picking this cotton, because it's got little points on.
Man, you think about today. Man, they opened them borders and allowed all of these people, which they changed the terminology on, depending on who's in office. red or blue, they're going to change the terminology. Immigrants, illegal aliens, border runners. They're going to allow all of these people across these borders to become the workforce because these people will come in and work for nothing. They're going to work for nothing. They're going to take the bait of this opportunity the system hands them, hook, line, and sinker, and then they're going to be able to vote and cast their vote. And the system is going to get worse. The people that's coming across this border have no problem working for what we call less than fair or less than a fair wage because it's far better than where we come from. Far better than where they come from. You look at the Hispanic community. I have no problem with the Hispanic community because, man, they came here and they are making something for themselves. Man, they're starting businesses. You know, they're getting into places and sitting at tables trying to dominate. And you think about how long we've been here and what have we gotten? We still the poets of the poets. I'll show you some statistics later that show you our ranking when it comes to business. You know, how much land do we own? We was before your John Deere, your $250,000, multi-million-dollar John Deere farming equipment. We was the labor force when it comes to agriculture in this company. Some of the hard, like, man, you working me like a Hebrew slave. You've ever heard any elders say that? Fast forward to today. What's our mindset? I'm not getting out there doing that. So there's something going on in here to where, okay, we was once the hardest working people. Hebrew slaves. To today, you're too good to do that. And today, you on the bottom, but been deceived into thinking that you're not on the bottom. You on the bottom. Man, this stuff is by design. It's very subtle. It's very crafty. You got to think, man, with us doing this, we don't even dominate the cotton industry. You give the average black family today 40 acres and a mule, and they not gonna know what to do with it because we're so far away from being the agricultural people of the book, which we were, so far away from, like, the average black man does not know how to grow beans. Outside of this system, you don't even know how to take Mother Earth based upon the guidance that Abba Yah gave us and provide food for your own family. That's across the board.
That it would stick you in the fingers if you don't pick it right. So you would have to put your fingers between these things here and you pull it out like this. And that's the way you pull it out because you don't want to touch these little sharp parts right here because these little parts would stick your fingers and it would start bleeding. So you kind of had to put your hand between this and pull it out. You go to work when you can see and stay at work till you cannot see. And that's why they said we work from can to can't. You would have this bag full by lunchtime. So if you start at 7 o'clock in the morning, at 12 o'clock, you would have this bag full, and it would be approximately 200 pounds. And then when you go back, you would probably pick another bag, or maybe a little bit more than a bag, because you have 7, 8 hours there. So you would probably pick a bag and a half during that time. You would probably pick approximately 500 pounds of cotton a day. And that's a bale of cotton a day. When a sack of cotton get full, they would bring it to the trailer, and you would weigh it up on these scales. And this scale here that goes to 200 pounds. So the average bag would be between 190 and 200 pounds. I chop cotton too, and chopping cotton is a really hard job. I mean, Because when you chopping, you talking about over 100 degrees. And that sign gonna burn you, it gonna blister your body. And we didn't wear short sleeves because you blister. So everybody would.
Man, think about how hard we were willing to work during slavery. Think about how hard we were willing to work as sharecroppers post-slavery. And then think about today. How hard we're not willing to work. And we have the biggest opportunity to be set apart. Think about that.
Have long sleeve hats and scarf, all.
Airplanes was up. It's raining down. Bullets were
This
just
is
raining down
Black Wall Street,
over us. This airplanes
Oklahoma.
was up. It's raining down the bullets.
You'll never forget that rock. That's something that will be always in your remembrance.
You can see telephone poles falling in fire. And that's when my little sister said, "Ken, is the world on fire?" I said, "I don't know. But we had lots of trouble here."
When the planes would fly over, we would see them dropping something to the rooftops of the different houses and setting them on fire.
There was an old man by the name of Melton Cook. He came to us one night. He said, "Old man, Keenan, better get your family out of here. They're killing niggas in town. Hurry up and get them out."
4 men coming toward our house, and all of them had torches.
They set our house on fire. We were up in the attic, 4 children, 5 kids, baby boy, and my sister and her 3 brothers.
It was just a sound of this bricks, stones, buildings blown up. You just the war torn.
People were killed, and you go in and see the people mangled. And then some people you never heard of anymore. You don't know where they were killed.
White guy, when the hell you going? And my grandpa said, "We're going out of town." And he said, "Not this day, you're not going out of town." Bam!
You saw your grandfather get shot?
I saw him get shot. Bam!
You know, Black Wall Street, man, I got several books in my library detailing this. And when you think about it, we were taking a lot of what we saw the heathens do, and we were establishing our own. And it looked like the way we were able to assimilate was a lot faster than they were able to. And that's the reason why Black Wall Street was such a threat. You know, the Most High told us to follow his guidance, not to emulate them, not to try to be like them. And till this day, we still don't, a lot of us don't see the oppressive DNA in that bloodline of the heathens. Man, a lot of them think that, man, you should just forget. You should just forget about it. And, man, they want you to forget about the things that they've done to you so you can, or so they can conjure up something else to give you, and you take that bait. But there's no further at the bottom you can get. There's no further away from being a dominant force to reckon with, being ambassadors of the Most High Yah, being a people who are independent from the system. There's no further that we can get. We're seeing that. Man, there's that song going around called Spin That Thing, where they got that little dance, and it's a song with our women talking about boosting stuff out of stores, stealing stuff at stores. And you have to think, man, why is this stuff trending in our community? Black Wall Street economically prospering, economically thriving, to songs on the radios going viral. TikTok, your children, they know this. Your children are getting programmed by the system. And that song is pretty much saying, man, it's cool to steal stuff and to boost stuff. Our sons and daughters, man, they think it's perfectly fine to walk around with ski masks on, and to think it's an injustice when somebody stops us because you fit the build. You, like, if they've programmed you to look like a criminal, you got a ski mask, a robber's mask on, man, that damage is already done. Damage is already done. Man, I got a book in here with the amendments in there, and it details, I want to say it's the 13th or the 14th Amendment, where slavery is still legal according to, the prison system. And you have to think about it, why we make up the majority of that. Why are we the dominant? Why are we dominant in incarceration? Well, you look at what this system allows and promotes, what these 2-9s, the kind of music that they will put some, okay, these 2-9s, they're not going to put any money behind you talking about messages come out and, start your own, buy land. They're not going to put no money behind nonprofit. What they going to do? They're going to put some money behind some chick came in there and said, hey, I got this song about boosting. I think it's a hit and I want to be a celebrity. And they're going to put some money out behind it. And your daughter's going to be doing this, spending stuff, and they're going to be out there boosting. They're going to get caught up. Your son's going to get caught up. You have to think, man, in our community, they've got us to turn guns on each other, sell dope to each other. In our community, I've heard men say, man, it would better if I made the money off my mama from her being a dope head than her to go spend her money somewhere else. Bro, we are, like, unless we come out, man, we're going to be a forgotten about people. Not a holy set apart nation. And it starts with you hearkening to the word of the Most High. The stuff that we do in our community. You got to understand, man, we're laying down, replicating the things that we've seen the other nations do, the goyim, the heathens, the infidels do. And it's damaging our community. Okay, we want to be whoremongers and whores in our community. And it's torn apart the family dynamic, the family unit. But we take pride in our community of being the biggest hoes, the biggest drug dealers. You got to understand, like, we have rappers and whatnot in our community thinking that they're the biggest boss. Boss of who? Boss of what? On a global large scale, boss of what? Where you dominating at? See, they've taught us to try to flex on our own people who are impoverished and oppressed. What's outstanding about you flexing on people that don't have nothing, and you're going to end up the same way? You got to think, man, what do people that we say when you get a check, you made it out? What do people in our community, when they so-called make it out, did they make it out or did they come out? What's the first thing they want to do? Go spend their money with somebody else and come back and flex on their own community. Because guess what? The people who really have wealth, economic dominance, bro, they're not trying to flex on people. Let's keep going. Definition: segregate means to separate or set something apart. Wait a minute. From a larger group or mass. It often implies dividing elements or people into distinct groups, sometimes forcefully or based on specific characteristics. See, the thing is, man, these heathens they are at the charge of the separation. They didn't, the Most High Yah wanted you to separate for righteousness' sake, for the inherited promise sake, for inheritance sake. But separating due to segregation according to these heathen, what has it gotten you? See, we have been taught that segregate is something bad. Segregation was bad. What do we need? We need integration. That's what they told us. Okay, integrate is to combine, to blend, or unite. Wait a minute. Okay, in the Torah, for us to take husbands and wives of the other nations is a sin. Tainted our bloodline. You got to understand, today, you have black men that think, okay, man, forget the women in my community. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to find something better over there in their community. But the Most High Yah told you not to do that. Told you not to do that. But our bloodline is so tainted to the day, we really don't know who we are. You have black women that think, okay, man, my men are duds. All of my men ain't no good. But a lot of the men that you say are no good are the ones you give the time of the day to and give your body to instead of the good ones. And then when that fails, you say, you know what, I'm going to run over here and get me a white man because that's where the promise is. Man, you have to think, man, I'm constantly, a couple weeks ago, I showed you the Willie Lynch book, and I hope some of you went out and got that and read that to show you how subtle and crafty they are in ensuring that our households are dysfunctional. Did the Most High, let me ask you something. Did the Most High Yah tell us to integrate with the heathens? Because we look at the Maccabean period, this is the process of Hellenization. This is the process of, okay, Greek sororities and fraternities. We integrated into this stuff. Most High Yah never told us to do that. So a lot of what we know according to black history and what is promoted on a month, why you think like I'm coming once a month with this kind of stuff? Why is it that they want you to only have 1 month? And in that 1 month, they're going to feed you some stuff that they've already filtered through to make sure you don't really get the truth. It's the same thing. Your children is learning some of the same stuff that we learned, and guess what? They've already filtered through it. They made it seem like integration is good. Look at words have meanings. Segregate means to separate. Did the Most High Yah want us set apart? I'm talking about this because I want this to marinate on it. I want this to marinate on you. Did the Most High Yah want us to integrate with the other nations? And you wonder why we're in the shape that we're in. The instructions. 2 Corinthians 6:14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Man, these other nations that are the leaders of world religion, when you look behind their religions and they tell you, oh, like Christianity, they say is monotheistic, meaning it's one deity, one God. Look at their observances. Look at their observances, what they celebrate. And you're going to see multiple deities. They're really unbelievers in the Most High Yah. Why do you think they don't call him by name? Why do you think they had to give the Messiah a different name other than Yahshua? Why do you think they gave him the name Jesus with the transliteration of Iesus, and that really means Hail Zeus? For what fellowship has righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion has light with darkness? And what concord has Yahushua HaMashiach with Belial, or what part has he that believes with an infidel? Man, these are infidels. Think about in the Middle East what they think about infidels. The word sets you straight. So when you hear like in the Middle East, and it's a reason why they call it the Middle East. We are an Eastern agricultural people, but they wanted to put a distinction on the middle. You got to think, okay, if something's in the middle, what's on the outer sides of it? What agreement has the temple of Elohim with idols? For you are the temple of the living Elohim. As Elohim has said, I will dwell in them, walk in them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, says Yahweh, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. We have gotten too comfortable amongst touching the unclean thing. We have gotten too comfortable with integration instead of being separate. Wonder why we're on the bottom. Facts. Let me give you some facts that hey, let me give you the facts. The Constitution was not written with Israelites benefiting in mind. It was written in 1787, and slavery wasn't abolished until 1865. So dang near a good 100 years after this thing was written, they freed you. The integration started. This is systematic. This was something that was structured. This is why blacks get the least amount of justice served still to this day. Our justice is in Torah and not in the laws of the heathens. In the United States, black households consistently record the lowest median incomes and highest poverty rates among major racial groups. Why are we the ones spending the most in entertainment, in spending the most in consumerism, in non-revenue generating things? The other nations know that they can prosper by selling us something. Okay? We have, in our community, we'll buy BBLs. Historically, genetically, we built the best already. Say that again. Our women are built the best. But they're going to figure out how to sell us some construction adhesive in our butt. Some silicone, and it's going to take you out. You walking around with a big booty with construction adhesive in it, and you think you doing something. Okay? They're going to try to sell us lips. Let me get you need to get your lips done. You have to think, who naturally has this? It says, when measuring accumulated wealth, assets minus debts, black households generally possess the lowest net worth. Man, we're not passing on no generational wealth. You got to think about it. Like, black man and black woman not getting married is going to ensure that no generational wealth is passed down. Matter of fact, okay, she go down there and put you on child support. Nobody talks about how much money this state system is making off of men. That's why that's why there's no advocacy of trying to change this system, because it profits off of the family being broken. They make money. When you go, it's not just one government website that you go to pay child support. These third party websites, and they get some of the money off of it. Black borrowers carry the most disproportionate debt burden in the U.S., particularly when comparing debt to asset ratios in specific categories like student loan. Black households hold a much heavier, longer lasting debt burden relative to their median wealth. So when you think about that, in the videos that I played, he said you can't never get ahead. That was 100 years ago, 150 years ago. You still can't get ahead to this day. Black or African American adults have the lowest marriage rate in America and the highest percentage of adults who have never been married. In the last 100 years, our rate of marriage has dropped by more than half, from 59% to 27%. You got to look at, listen to our music. Listen to a lot of our music. When you're at a football game, a basketball game or something, listen the 2-9s have no problem giving somebody like Sexy Red $2 million to come out and put some. Man, that listen in our community. She came out with a lip gloss line, a cosmetic line, and some of the lip gloss was called gonorrhea, chlamydia, gonorrhea green. I'm telling you, man, we need to come out from among. We need to come out like never before. Trinidad Jane, pop the molly and I'm sweating. Woo! That took off in our community. That took off in our community. Now you got these folk out here, these young boys think they need to be selling Tunchi. And they need to be, in order to get into their right frame of mind, they need to pop a Tunchi. They need to pop a molly. Okay? What did Rick Ross say? I put Molly in her drink and she didn't even know it. Wait a minute. Marriage is declining. We literally got our women and men today that don't want to marry. And I'm gonna be honest. Because of that mindset you have adopted, there will be no inheritance for the single father, his grandchildren. There will be no inheritance for the single mother, her grandchildren. It's getting worse. Man, we've got 15-year-old mothers that don't understand the ways of Yah. We've got 38-year-old grandmothers. We got 60-year-old great-grandmothers. One thing that lady said was Big Mama was the lawyer, the doctor, all of that. And you know what Big Mama didn't leave behind? Big Mama didn't leave nobody behind no land. Big Mama didn't leave behind no business. Big Mama didn't leave behind understanding of Torah. Big Mama left that same debt that she carried. The man said the goal was to keep the family in debt so you could never escape from generation to generation. Big Mama was trying to govern the house thinking that she was going to be able to get out of this system, but she never could. Big Mama died off. You still was in debt. That debt didn't die with Big Mama. You got to understand, man, our generation of children aren't getting to see a great grandma or a grandma and granddaddy that got 40, 50 years of marriage. They're not getting to see that. And because of that, they're going to fall further off. They're going to fall further off. Statistically, over the last 100 years, we done dropped more than half. You got to understand, we got granddaddies today that have laid down with women, didn't want to take a wife, degraded the value of marriage according to us, and you want to be a 50-year-old player. Grandmamas who want to be fast in the booty, want to be, out in these streets, want to be a diva, want to be a bad bitch, marriage is declined. We had to come out from among them. You're starting to see in our generations and future generations, we're not falling too far from the tree. Black women have both the highest total number and highest rates of abortions in the United States. You got to understand, I want black women to hear me real good. You choose your struggle with who you open your legs up to. You choose your struggle with whom you open your legs up to. Willfully. Man, that is when you think about a door, a gate to keep something out, that is in our community the first form of allowing the door to be wide open so you can be spiritually attacked with whom you open your legs to. But guess what, man? Our women are not out here impregnating themselves. They cannot. Scientifically, they cannot impregnate themselves. Somebody had to give up some seeds. Somebody had to lay down with them. And here's the thing. We got some of the most freakiest people in our community. Taken after the ways of you look at, let me give you another example. You look at homosexuality. Where did that start? That started in Egypt. It was a part of Roman culture. What did the Most High Yah tell us not to do? Don't follow the Egyptians. Don't follow the doggone heathens. And we didn't pick up every vile infection along the way since we didn't try to emulate these people. We trying to have all of this sex, trying to be freaky, and don't have no priority, don't have no purpose according to righteousness. And what has it gotten us? You got to understand, man, a lot of our young children today are not going to grow up with a father, won't be passed down anything because mama has been programmed to leave and to try to prove a point. And at the end of the day, the family is a failure. Family is a failure. Men, we had to have some sexual discipline to say, you know what? Man, I don't need to lay down. This is not a woman that I want to marry. Man, we look at you had to think, man, what in the right mind? You look back at some of these old rap videos. I look back at it now. Whenever I see an old rap video, you got 30 dudes and 3 females. 30 dudes and 3 females. Like that's the life. Man, we have seen, when we look at our women today, we see pleasure. We don't see purpose. Same thing, women. You see outside of an ATM, outside of some digging stick, you see pleasure. He ain't no good. He ain't no good other than being a buck. He can come over here and break my back off, put that baby up in me, and that's all he's good for. Give me some money. Handout. We so far off the path. And here's the thing. You have to think about, man, choosing a deadbeat. Every community got their version of deadbeats. Don't be fooled. But in our community, why is it that we glorify choosing a YN as a baby daddy, choosing a deadbeat as a baby daddy, and this is well within your wheelhouse of control? And at the end of the day, we steady claiming it's hard to raise these children. When we have, you got to understand, black men, we have women in our community that's worth wifing, that want to be wives, that want to do right. But this system that they gave us, promoted us, they want you falling for the sexy red. They want you falling for the Sukihanas. They want you falling for the most rebellious women, so you can get taken to the ringer. Black women out here, I want you to understand, we have black men that want to marry you. But guess what? Man, you've been programmed to fall for the man who is weak in mind, who is weak in spirit, who will allow you to run over. Look at the Willie Lynch letter. I'm just saying stuff that's already out there. You know what's gonna be the, like, okay, abortion. Whether the man is saying, you know what, I don't want this. We got men say, I don't want this baby. Go ahead and kill it off. And then you got women that say, you know what, I ain't ready for no baby. I'm living my best life. I'm gonna abort this baby. That's the quickest way to make sure your people go extinct. That's the quickest way to make sure nothing is passed on, because there ain't gonna be nothing to pass it on to. Statistically, black households in the U.S. are the most likely to not leave an inheritance behind, primarily due to the severe systematic racial wealth gap and lower rates of estate planning. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, okay. Man, we love this thing called tax returns. What have we been doing with the money? What do we have to show for it? Man, we'll chrome out motorcycle, we'll chrome out car, we will bedazzle anything. We'll bedazzle a license plate on a hoopty. What do we have to show for our households? We should have the largest crops. We should own the most land. We should still be the hardest working. Time to come out. Blacks own roughly 3.4% of all employer businesses, despite making up roughly 13 to 14% of the U.S. population. So when you think about that, we're the minority. And this is why our mindset is somebody has to give us a job, because we don't generate enough business to employ our own people. So we have to take what they're giving us, or we choose to take when we say, you know what? Starting a business is hard. Doing this is hard. Man, I don't give a dang if it's okay. Let me show you how they fool us into thinking that, man, we got some black business out there. Okay, Patty Pies, the Patty LaBelle pies. Was that a branding agenda? Or does Patty LaBelle own the majority of that? No. Look up the woman that owns Patty Pies. Let that open your eyes up. Let that, man, we getting taken advantage of every opportunity. In the United States, black African American workers consistently experience the highest unemployment rates among major racial and ethnic groups. Okay, so you think about them like this right here. What it did was, all they had to do is come up with something called DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. They can create degrees in this, which was worthless, but it's something that they gave you. What did our community do? We took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. So when you started getting a little money, and they said, you know what? We're going to pull the carpet out from under these Negroes. We're going to pull the carpet out, and you start to look at how many of these jobs they took away. And it was something, when you look at why this stuff was created, it was created to benefit the white woman. Look at it. Out of the DEI, look at who got hired the most. Although we did take some of them jobs, look at who was getting hired the most. But we always take the bait of everything they give us, hook, line, and sinker, rather than coming out from among them. With rates typically hovering around 6.5 to 7.5, this is significantly higher than the national average, which sits around 4.3. So we're at the lowest. Incarceration, Black Americans make up roughly 13 point. So you got to think 13.6 of the U.S. population, but account for 38% of the incarcerated. So when you see the young boy be like, man, there ain't no jobs out there. No, it's not jobs for you. Only way we're going to get jobs is if, man, we create them. %38% of the incarcerated population. That's double. That's double what we are on earth, percentage-wise. What we are in the United States. Take that back. The U.S. Department of Education indicates that Black children had the highest diagnosed rates of learning and neurodevelopment disabilities such as ADHD, dyslexia, and developmental disorders. They want you to think that our children are slow. This is why I'm an advocate. I got a book here in my library that talks about how oppressive the public school system is. And you know who wrote it? An educator who realized this stuff in his 25 years of being an educator. Your children, they're going to tell your child is gifted and special and slow. In reality, in modern day culture, they're not teaching children anymore. They letting computers and stuff, like, man, my daughter told me, she said, man, we get in trouble if we try to work out problems on a piece of paper. And yet they're going to be like, your baby is slow. They have no problem telling you your baby is slow according to their system. Black Americans own the least amount of land among major racial groups in the United States, accounting for less than 1% of the country's rural and agricultural land. Come on, statistically today, if you give the average Black man or Black woman 40 acres and a mule, them Negroes ain't gonna know what to do with it. We so far away from living how the Most High Yah told us to live. Nationally, Black households own the lowest number and smallest percentage of homesteads in the United States. Man, welfare. Man, it will be alarming to you to find out how much of the Tunon community is on welfare. Gentiles, Goyams, masquerading as the people. See, we were told that that's a system that was created for us. That wasn't a system created for us. Just look at the numbers on it. Look at the numbers on it. Look at who is the biggest benefactor of that. And why? Because they're not good with money. And when we adopt their ways, we ain't gonna be good with money. Why you think they said, hey, we can't outwork them? We might as well manage them because they're a good labor force. We're a good revenue generating people. The revenue we generate, the only problem is, man, it doesn't come back to help our community. That's the problem. We don't know how to grow our own food, raise our own livestock. You got to understand, like, this is the reason they can sell us prosperity, because we reject the prosperity that's in the book. Israel's calling was to reflect Yahweh's ways and character among the nation. Israel's was called out to be distinct. Holiness involves dedication to Yahweh. Being set apart carries responsibility as well as privilege. Deuteronomy 7:6. For you are a holy people unto Yahweh Elohake. Yahweh Elohake has chosen you to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. That's not something that I came up with. And here's the thing today. You got Israelis masquerading around as Israelites, and there's a difference. Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people. You were the minority. Exodus 19:5. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and guard my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Yashrael. Man, the Most High Yah warned us. The nations practice customs and forms of worship contrary to Yahweh's instructions. Custom shape values and behavior. Yahweh warned Israel before entering the land. Spiritual compromise often begins gradually. Didn't happen overnight. Jeremiah 10:1. Hear you the words which Yahweh speaks unto you, O house of Yasharel. Thus says Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Deuteronomy 12:29. When Yahweh Elohake shall cut off the nations from before you, whether you go to possess them and succeed them and dwell in their, and you succeed them and dwell in their land, take heed to yourself that you be not snared by following them. Come on, man. Didn't the Most High lay this out? He said you was going to be snared by following them after that they be destroyed from before you, and that you inquire not after their Elohim, not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their Elohim? Even so will I do likewise. You started to emulate them. Leviticus 18:3, after the doing of the land of Mizraim wherein you dwelt, shall you not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall you not do, neither shall you walk in their ordinances. We're not supposed to be walking as these Egyptians. We're not supposed to be following as these heathens. Ensnared by the nations, what began as tolerance becomes imitation and eventually participation. Think about that. Most High Yah wanted you separated, but they gave you a different version of separation. They gave you segregation. They set you apart to be on the bottom. So what did you say? You say, you know what? I want to be integrated. And that tolerance of you doing this, you started to imitate and you started to participate. Learning the ways of the nation can influence worship and conduct. Repeat compromise can lead people away from covenant faithfulness. Scripture presents this as a reoccurring challenge for Israel. Psalms 106:35. But were mingled amongst the heathen and learned their works. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. Come on, man. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. Man, we have to stop every time. Okay. Here's what you never hear people say today. And anytime you do see somebody talking about assimilation in an assembly of our people, this individual has already sold out. You have to think, man, one tax return of $1,000 could get our people on a path that would put them 100 years ahead. It would advance you by 100 years. You take one tax return, one family, one man or one woman say, you know what, I'm going to give $1,000. Like if you buy enough land, still to this day in the United States, you can get it for $1,000 an acre. If you buy enough of it. But guess what? We cannot assimilate. We cannot assemble in unity of saying, you know what, man, let's find us some land that they really don't want. Let's find us some land that we can go do our own thing and prosper. But it's going to take, it's going to take 10,000 giving 1,000. Anytime we've had anybody do that, they've been trying to create all this other stuff and then the money disappeared. Because the person leading it has already sold out. You got to understand, man, there's no reason our families should be paying these funeral homes $10,000, $15,000 and taking out debt to bury our own people. And they selling you a little tiny plot of land, stacking bodies on this, and it's because we don't have no land. They know it. It says, man, you're going to be a snare to them. A snare is a trap. You set a trap for something to come. The trap already been set because we're walking right into it today, and we think we holding our head up walking into the trap. Judges 2:11, and the children of Yasharel did evil in the sight of Yahweh and served Balaam. And they forsook Yahweh Elohim of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Mizraim, and followed other Elohim of the Elohim of the people that were round about them. So we started gravitating to these other deities. and bowed themselves unto them and provoked Yahweh to anger. Man, the modern church, First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41 through 43. And Antiochus, go look up Antiochus and see who he was. Antiochus was a heathen. Antiochus now issued a decree to all the nations in his empire should abandon their own customs and become one people. All the Gentiles and even many of the Israelites submitted to this decree. They adopted this official pagan religion, that's Christianity to the day, Catholicism, offered sacrifices to idols, and no longer observed the Sabbath. So he rejected, with the integration, which you acquiesce and capitulating. The man said in the video that it wasn't customary for our people to say no to their ways of oppression. So you adopted this, took the bait, hook, line, and sinker, and you violated the ways of the Most High Yah. Anytime you see our people keeping Sunday, man, that's what I'm talking about right here, because we were told to keep the seventh day. Sunday is the first day. Look at the definition of Sunday in your dictionary. Look at the definition of Saturday in your saying it'll break it down. Look on your calendar. What day is far to the left? That's Sunday for first day. What day is far to the right? The seventh day. The Shabbat, Saturday. Micaiah 3:11. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire. Your Christian pastor, what are they doing? They're doing it for salary. I went to a church here locally, and the pastor relocated from California to here, but he was talking about the salary. He had to work out the business, the particulars, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they learn upon Yahweh and say, is not Yahweh among us? No evil can come upon us. Man, they didn't turn this thing into a business. They're not doing this out of obedience to the Most High. I heard this stuff. It was amazing, because in the process of coming out, I was hearing all of this stuff that I would later read about, and it would become clear as day. Matthew 15:8. The people draw nigh unto me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. But in vain do they worship me, teaching for the doctrines and commandments of men. Let's watch this video right here. Let's see what Grandma got to say. This is a lady she got her own YouTube channel, by the way. But this is a clip I saw a brother react to, and this is your Sunday church. And that business model of keeping us broke, you got to think Big Mama would give her last to this business church, business model of church, not the true ecclesia, not the true congregation of Israelites. No, she's going to give her last to, man, this Roman church, this heathen church. The modern day church is why a lot of our great grandchildren and grandchildren and our children today won't have an inheritance. And this is still to this day. Women are the most acceptable to being violated by the church today. A lot of men have left the church because we know what's going on. But because our women is uncovered, all of the money that our unmarried single black women are generating is a high probability they're going to end up giving to these pulpit pimps. When I say pulpit pimp, I say that because they pretty much got the mindset. They're not going to come out and say it, but it's like, go out there and work 5 days a week and bring me back that money on a day that ain't the Sabbath, on a day that's become a day of business, a day of generating revenue, and that's how they view us. Let's see what Grandma got to say.
I'm not here to tell you that giving is wrong, but I am here to tell you what I lived through after 15 years of faithful giving and what the church told me directly when I finally needed something back. Because right now, there are people sitting in churches every Sunday putting money they cannot afford into an offering plate while leadership decides who deserves to benefit from it and who doesn't. A church that takes your money, diminishes your need, and rewards its favorites has stopped functioning as the body of Christ, and you are not obligated to keep funding it. The day a church leader looked me in the eye and said, "We run this like a business now," everything finally made sense. When a church becomes a business, the congregation becomes a customer base. The goal shifts from serving people to protecting the bottom line.
Man, one of the biggest things is look how these places treat widows. And the Most High Yah tells us to cover the widows. But even in Israel, we got wicked men that have no problem taking an abundance of money from widows, and you know they don't have a covering. I'm gonna put that out there. Let your grandma be widowed. Even in the Christian community, they gonna get that money out of grandma. Big mama gonna take a bankroll to the church. Car need a transmission, roof need replacing, water heater about to go out, and they gonna pray that money out of Big Mama, who's a widow. And even in the Israelite community, let's be honest, we have started to replicate some of the same stuff, even in some of these camps, even in some of these communities. Why is it being found out that you, being the man of wisdom, being a man of truth, have taken all this money from widows, and when they die with grandchildren, ain't nothing left behind? Man, we have, even in the black church, we have started to, like, we took their business model and done the same thing and caused our people to go deeper. Okay, here's the thing. Black church generates a lot of money, and you can Google how much they generate every Sunday. Okay, all of them considered to be Christians, right? So you look at, for every church out there in the United States that calls themselves taking tithes, but they never tell you what a biblical tithe is, there's 2 homeless people. When you look at how many churches we have versus the amount of homeless people, we got double homeless people than the amount of churches. So with all this money being generated, Big Mama done gave them $10,000, $15,000. You got churches, mega churches popping up left and right. They in there taking your last. You mean to tell me each church can't take in 2 people and we would no longer have a homeless problem? But ask yourself, where is this money going? This woman is like, she's telling you this after the fact. I'm telling you this ahead of the fact. I'm taking what she's saying for your edification so you don't stop giving these pimps your money. They wouldn't feel like you a great sister, you're a great man of God. Oh, you a sister, you's a great woman of God. There's an anointing on your life. After you didn't gave him a bankroll, you didn't got your husband's life insurance policy, you got your husband's pension money, and you know what? You hand it over because you're naive with a covering. See, go in there and see, if we had agriculture, like, these churches wouldn't want our business, because if we was walking in truth, if we was giving biblical tithe, man, they'd be like, take them bell peppers, take them bananas, take them apples, and get on that. That's not what we want. That's not what we want. They want that money. So they look at us, man, we're like, you talking about fleecing the flock? Man, come on. Your car need a new transmission. Pastor don't have no daggone job. Taking money from the people. No matter how you look at it, taking money from the people. He riding around brand new. Don't work a job. Don't have a business that's well, matter of fact, I take that back. His business is robbing you. His business is pimping. This is 15 years later, how much money she didn't give up. So it's a high probability at her age, by the time you cancel out, if she's got any debt, and that debt getting paid off with the money that's left, man, there ain't gonna be nothing for them grandchildren. Ain't gonna be nothing.
I'm not here to tell.
Let me go to the next slide.
I'm not here to tell.
Family and community. Scripture places strong emphasis on passing down Yahweh's commandments. Deuteronomy 6:6. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. Psalm 78. For he established a testimony in Yaakov and appointed a Torah in Yasharel, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children. So one reason why, okay, your children aren't going to be, raised in righteousness and in Torah, mama going to take them to the church. Mama going to give all her money away. Daddy ain't in the house. Father is not in the house. This instruction was given to the fathers. Black men, I want you to understand, you choose who you plant seed in. You choose the field in which you sow seed in. You choose. Man, this system has told you to choose the wrong fields. That's not going to yield good fruit in your children. But this is a choice you got to make. Just like I said, man, a woman has she holds the cards. She holds the power to determine, am I going to let this man, am I going to give my body to the lowest bidder, to the lowest functioning man? Men, you say the same thing. Am I going to give, like, if you went to Lowe's and they said, hey, on the bag of soil, hey, we got this soil, everybody buying it. It's being pushed out here. It's this propaganda. Everybody's buying this soil, and you read on the bag, it say 99% chance that it ain't gonna fruit. It's not gonna, your stuff gonna be diminished. It's not good soil. It's got rocks all in it. It's not good. You got the opportunity to say, you know what? I don't want to buy that. I don't want this soil. I don't want to take this bag of soil to plant my seeds in. You say, I want this other one. I'm gonna be selective in my process. But you know what? We haven't been selective. We haven't been righteously selective according to the will of the Most High Yah. And we plant seed in that bad soil, and then we wonder why our children are out here YNs. Our sons and daughters is not being brought up in the ways of Torah. You wasn't brought up in the ways of Torah. So it's not too far off to say that you didn't fall too far from the tree of unrighteousness. It says, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children. That's the ways of Torah. The generation to come might know them, even the children which should be born, which should arise and declares them to our children. So we spend time, like, broken homes are more likely to, you're going to celebrate the ways of the heathens. You're going to the Easter eggs and the Christmas. You're going to show up for all of that stuff. That's what we're passing on. We're not passing on these feast days. It's in this daytime and hour, it is hard. It is hard. It is hard. You can show our people right in the book what Messiah did, keeping the feast days. Not these worldly holidays, but till this day, it is hard to try to get a whole household to keep these feast days in our community. That they might set their hope in Elohim. That they might set their hope in Elohim and not this system. And not forget the works of El, but guard his commandments. We've forgotten the word because we're too busy thinking that what they have given us is benefiting us, and it's not. Statistically, how has it benefited us? Okay, they let you vote in a system. They let you go get educated. They profiting off of it all. Holiness, not conformity. Believers are called to be transformed rather than shaped by surrounding culture. Holiness is more than belief. It affects lifestyle. Distinctiveness can be challenging, but it's part of covenant identity. Faithfulness sometimes requires going against cultural norms. Romans 12:2. And be not conformed to this world. We read this all the time, but are we trying to integrate? But be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Elohim. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 15. But as he which has called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation, because it is written, be holy, for I am holy. Marriage. Man, this right here, I can't even stress it. because we reject this, because we're out of order in understanding biblical marriage versus state marriage, this is why we're behind. Hebrews 13:4, marriage is honorable in all, in the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers Elohim will judge. Wait a minute. So we're not out here marrying. We're not out here abstaining from sex. That's what we're not doing. We're not doing that. No. So we have become whoremongers and adulterers. Exodus, like, you got to understand, you got men out here in our community. You got black men telling other black men, you should be the side dude because you don't have to deal with the headache. You got black women out here telling other black women, you should be the mistress, you should be the side chick because you don't have to deal with all the problems. You get the best of the man. We're sick. We're sick. We're sick. We're sick. Exodus 34:15, lest you cut a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go whoring after their Elohim, and do sacrifice unto their Elohim, and one call you, and you eat of his sacrifice. What did we do when it comes to marriage? We've been married for decades. We've been married for centuries. We've been married for thousands of the years biblically. But miscegenation laws, integration. Now because we've integrated you, we want to stop the whites and blacks from marrying. So now we're going to do this marriage license, and you gotta get permission from the state. 1 Corinthians, but I would have you know that the head of every man is Mashiach, and the head of woman is the man, and the head of Mashiach is Elohim, is Yahweh. That's the order that the Most High Yah gave you. Let me show you what this system, let me show you what following the likeness of the heathens has gotten you. The heathens gave you this order. They gave you their religion. Their religion is going to be at the head. Their religion is going to dictate how you view this thing, how you view what lens you look through. Next is the state. Next is the state. Then comes the woman. You got to think, man, men aren't out here the ones fighting for state-issued marriage. It's the woman because she believes there's a benefit in it. Where's the benefit? Where's the benefit across the board for our people with state-issued marriage? Where's the benefit? It wasn't created with you benefiting in mind. It wasn't created. That benefit that you say, the man don't do right, I got something, the family still gonna be at the bottom. So they go religion, state, woman, children, man. But the word of the Most High Yah says, women and children will become your oppressor. Man will be on the bottom. Man will be on the bottom. Most High Yah wanted you as the head. Following after them, you're going to be at the bottom. You got to understand, has this state issued marriage, like, how many have, like, have our people prospered more? Is marriage increasing? Marriage license, dang sure didn't increase marriage in our community. It allowed more of our families to be taken advantage of. But I told you early on, we got to stop seeking permission. Stop seeking permission to do what the Most High Yah has already told you can do. Okay, we're worried about, I wonder if my job is going to let me go. They not going to let me go. Most High Yah told you to come out from among them. Flip your job. Man, it's a brother out there. I think his name is Yahshua in the woods. And he look, some of the stuff he does is far-fetched. But this brother live in the woods, him and his wife, they live in the woods and they living. They living in the woods with some stuff look like a treehouse, and they making it. Guess what he don't have to worry about? He don't have to worry about this system trying to, and I get it, man. You have families, like you look up Black Homesteads, YouTube chat, you look it up, you got families saying, you know what, man, I was making $400,000 a year. And you know what? Man, I'd rather be off here in the middle of nowhere, free from their oppression, free from their influence, free from, like, there's more communities in righteousness that you have to go out and search for. You're not just the media is not gonna push them to the forefront for you to see this. That's not what they want you to see no. But they're out there. They're out there. And guess what? there's more of our community following after the ways of Yah than you think. They're out there. They're out there. But if you're still, the mindset is that these heathens gonna give you something to benefit you, and you're taking a bait, hook, line, and sinker, you're never even going to enter into a time frame where you can even experience what I'm talking about. The family office. A family office is a dedicated private wealth management structure with the primary goal of growing, preserving, and seamlessly transferring wealth across multiple generations while providing highly tailored concierge level service. So one thing about the family office is the people that make up the family can't, like, in order to pass on some generational wealth, you got to do one thing. That one thing is you can't spend all the money. You can't spend all the money. That means it's got to be a strategic plan to say, you know what? I'm going to put, that's why I like precious metals. Because once you buy precious metals, you got to go through a process in order to offload it. You got to go through a process to try to liquidate it into currency. I'm going to be honest, with the shape that we're in now, statistically, you give us some money, statistically, we still going to be at the bottom. Look at how many black people have won the lottery. Look at how many celebrities have come into some money. And at the end of the day, you ain't got a pot to piss in. So statistically, if you left some currency, statistically, if you left your children with $1 million in currency, your grandchildren, it's a high probability they're not going to know what to do with it. Why are they not going to know what to do with it? Because we don't have a family office. We don't have a family structure. Like, men, I want you to understand, the longer, man, let me say this. Let me say this. I know you ain't gonna want to hear this. The longer you have been married to a woman, your patience and your forgiveness should be increasing. Women out here, let me say this. The longer that you have been married to a man, your patience and forgiveness should be growing. In our community, it's the complete opposite. Our patience decreases. Our forgiveness decreases as time goes on. You got to understand, man, those people that are married for 20 years, and nowadays we're in a generation where we have women in our community saying, you know what, I walked away from my 20-year marriage because I just wanted to see if the grass was greener. I wanted to be out here living my best life, and this marriage was oppressive. You don't even understand. You've got children, you've got grandchildren. You're not going to be able to accomplish this. So by them attacking the family, they know you're not going to pass on any wealth. They know you're not going to gain anything economically. They know you're not. They know you're not. You got to understand, you've heard people say it's cheaper to keep her. I get what, okay, vengeance is mine, says the Most High Yah. A man or a woman does you wrong, we got to, in our community, we want to go tit for tat. I got to get my lick back. I got to get my get back. I heard a woman say the other day that, man, her husband went down and laid with another married woman. And the night before, like, once the woman that he laid down with, divorce was finalized, he was set to marry her. Her getting her lick back was him coming over there and she busting all in his face. And she was like, that's going to be my leverage to, if she ever say something to me, I'm going to be like, well, I busted in his face, you know, the day before you married. Wait a minute. We had to stop letting the actions, like, okay, in this walk, my wife could go out and do anything. At the end of the day, we all gonna be judged for our works, whether good or bad, for the things that we say. So, man, we gotta quit being so sensitive. We had to have forgiveness. We had to have patience. And the longer that we have invested in this thing, like, I don't know no man or woman that hasn't gone through anything in marriage. I've known people in marriage go through the most because you're doing something that the Most High Yah wanted you to do. So therefore you get spiritually attacked the most. But guess what? We got to be more patient. Man, men will stick around through unhappiness. Men will stick around because we're programmed for duty. A woman will bail because she's unhappy. Forget the duty. Forget the inheritance. But you have to understand, man, y'all together have generated this thing, which is the family office, which isn't an example of showing what working through something leads. And you get 20, 30 years down the road, 10 years in, and you say, you know what? Yeah, I'm good on this. Only to end up as whoremongers and adulterers. You're not getting out there. You're not getting out of this divorce and being celibate. You're not getting out of these marriages. Not, you know what, I'm a stay. No, you getting out there being plumb freaks. Proverbs 13:22, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children, and the wealth of sinners is laid up for the just. Proverbs 19:14, house and riches are inheritance of the father. A prudent woman is from Yahweh. So it tells you who the inheritance is coming from. But you got to understand, we don't even have that family unit. We don't even have fathers in the home. Every child out there got a daddy. Not every child got a father. Father is a role. Men, we haven't done a great job in selecting prudent women. We have selected women who the modern culture, which is influenced by the system. We go out and choose these, like we go out and we'll see a woman who is modest and meek, not out there, not trying to be all in the streets, and we'll say, nah, man, that ain't it. Because we're programmed to want the freak. And then what do? We turn around and say, man, you can't turn this freak into no housewife. But you completely bypassed the woman that was good. The woman that had good sense. The woman that actually wanted to build with you. We'll go out and pick the woman that don't want to build, been programmed not to build. And you wonder why we don't have none. You wonder why our family office is structured. Same thing when you'll pick you will let the man who don't have no car, got multiple children he don't take care of, don't want to work, but he will allow you to talk to him crazy. He'll allow you to control him. That's the man who you allow to put seed in you and then be sitting up there screaming he's a deadbeat. He ain't no good. You should have known that. Where was your intuition then? Where was your discernment then? We got to come out from, like, a lot of our ways, man, are not productive for our community. Man, I got a neighbor that got over 1,000 acres of land. 1,000 acres that's been passed down through a trust. I was talking to him. He said, "Yep, I'm fifth generation." Fifth generation? Wait a minute. Fifth generation? So when somebody tells you, man, they're fifth generation and they're a Gentile, that some of their wealth, or a lot of their wealth, they got a head start off of our backs. And they listen to, even though the man that I'm talking to didn't directly have no slaves, his father didn't have no slaves, grandfather might have no slaves, but fifth generation, after we go back 2 or 3, there was some slaves involved. Just look at the timeline. Look at history. Look at history. And them grandchildren are handed down via trust. 100 cattle, 100 acres. Them other people, man, they setting up family offices, husband and wife sticking it out, and we're duking it out just to go live our so-called best lives, to run up some more debt. You divorcing husbands to go take out student loans and still falling flat on your face. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8, but if anybody does not provide for his own, especially for those of his own house, he is denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. I'm telling you, man, we got some men in our community that's got 100-round drum full of seed that they will plant in daughters of Zion, but they won't take care of none of their children. Women, you need to see these men for who they are. Because these the men that's going to wreck your life if you allow them in between your legs. They got 100-round drum of seed ready to seed dispenser, but they won't take care of none of their children. They'll run off. They'll run off rather than stick in there. This is why men and women, young men and women of our community, man, need the Ruach HaKodesh. You need the spirit that's going to guide you in living holy and living set apart. Man, that woman said in that first clip, she said, man, the problem with Israel is this young black generation. Like you just have to think about that. They're having these conversations, but the problem is by time we hear it, the damage already been done. The damage already been done. Man, when you think about the instruction, man, it's the father's instruction to leave an inheritance for the grandchildren. Okay? What's one way that we're not able to leave an inheritance? Okay, we get married via the state. And it changes the structure. It changes the dynamic. The state holds the power, then the woman, then the children, then the man. Now the state got their hand in the cookie jar because you didn't fill our system, and you, like, as a Most High Yah says, Yahshua is the head of man. Elohim is the head of Yahshua. Man is the head of woman. When we buy in and we cut a covenant with them, a contract, a license, they don't even want you to adjudicate matters within your marriage on your own without coming before them. What are they making off of this? Court costs, court fees, filing fees. They making money off. When them processing payment for child support get paid, man, they getting money off of it. They getting money off of it. If you don't understand, like, okay, think about these wicked politicians. They supposed to be on $120,000 salary. And after 4 or 8 years of serving in a seat, how you leaving with $20 million? How's that possible? What kind of stocks and investments are you? But really, man, these folk, all they know how to do, they take advantage. They systems are not to free you. They systems are to take advantage. Right now, they're attacking farmers. They've been attacking farmers. And that number of black farmers that we've had is dwindling. They're trying to run you out because they're not going to allow you. Like, okay, you think a farmer that's not this, he can go get financing, no problem, to go get a $1 million piece of equipment. They're not going to get that same piece of equipment to you. They're going to make it hard on you. But we got to stop seeking their handout. We got to stop seeking their permission. We'll get further if we labor with these. We'll get further if we labor with these. Flip their equipment. We'll get further if we labor with these. You can't even get the average family over the course of 10 years to buy into the concept of buying 1 acre for your household. You can't even get them to do it. You know how much food you could grow with 1 acre? With 1 acre. Man, I'm like in a 16th of an acre on my property, I raised goats. And had 7 or 8 of them at the most. You got to understand, these systems, man, they're like, okay, the 9 to 5, the education system is meant to take up your time. If we take up your time, if we program your children to see us as the source of information, your children don't want to hear what you got to say. They're worried about what their teachers say. They're going to follow that influence. Okay, this 9 to 5. We're going to take up your time to where you don't have the time to sow seed in your garden and to use the abundance of what you have been blessed with. Man, my biggest, like, man, you know, man, this is my last year in the military, and I'm retiring dead on at 20 years because this thing has opened doors, but towards the end, the pay increase, but more time is taken. So especially with this in this last year, 19 to 20, my time has been eaten up. It has been eaten up. It has been eaten up. And that's going to be your biggest constraint. Your biggest constraint. Okay, you go out here and get a high salary job, and they're like, bro, we're going to pay you $400,000. You think they finna give you a whole bunch of time off? Yeah, right. Man, they about to work the crap out of you. They're going to give you, they're going to be calling you on the weekend, and because you want that salary, man, you're gonna end up working. So when you could be on first day sowing seed, when you got to think, man. Shout out to the brother, the Covenant Homestead. Go check that brother out. Got some great content. Go check out brother Boaz at the Covenant Homestead on YouTube. Great content. Great content. Great content. You got to understand, man. This is why I promote, starting your own business. I don't give a dang whether it's a lawnmower. I don't give a dang whether it's cutting down trees. I don't give a dang whether it's painting. Start your own business. Start your own business. Because now you control your time. And the book tells you that these heathens, they want to control the dates and the times. So you off. You off. The calendars is off. You got to understand, being an agricultural people, it takes time laboring in the vineyard. This system wants to occupy you because you're a good laborer. They told you that, but how are they're benefiting off of it? You ain't benefiting off of it. You ain't getting no healthier laboring for them. You're getting sicker. The call to come out. The biblical call is ultimately a call to repentance, obedience, and renewed covenant loyalty. Returning to Yahweh begins with repentance. Scripture encourages examining traditions and practice in light of Yahweh's word. Covenant faithfulness involves both faith and obedience. Revelation 18:4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sin, and that you not receive her plagues. Jeremiah 6:16, thus says Yahweh, stand you in the ways and see, and ask for the ancient paths, where is the good ways, and walk therein, and you shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. And this is why we're on the bottom, because we don't want to walk in the prosperous ways of the Most High. Malachi 3:7, even from the days of your father, you are gone away from my ordinance, and you have not guarded them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, says Yahweh Tisahod. But ye said, wherein shall we return? We don't even know where we supposed to start at. That's not good. We must examine. Micaiah 6:8, he has showed to you, O man, what is good, and what Yahweh requires of you, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your Elohim. Man, I want to leave you with these final reflection questions. What influences shape your values more? Scripture or culture? On a day-to-day basis, from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, to the time you're sleeping, your mind is still going. What's shaping and influencing your values, scripture or culture? Are the practices in my life that need to be examined in light of Yahweh's word? And what I doing? Because the word says, man, even even Hasatan will masquerade as somebody who has the light. This world has a form of light, and sometimes we get fooled into thinking that's the light of the Most High, especially in religion. Are the practices and the customs and things in your life that you're examining, man, are they the light of Yahweh's word, or are they the light of this world? How can I strengthen covenant faithfulness in my family and community? Within the ecclesia, how can I strengthen it? What does being set apart look like in my daily walk? What are you doing that's set apart? Okay? Man, average black family, you say, man, for the family that's together, they've got an image that they want you to follow. Married black men and women, okay, they want you, they have this image created. You're educated, but you lack the wisdom of the book. You go to church, but you go on a day that ain't commanded. You got a big house, you got nice stuff, but you're in debt to your neck, rather than being set apart and free from it. They've got a mold that they want you to, if you take that bait, hook, line, and sinker, and somehow your family intact, they got a mold in which they want you to follow. And anytime you want to get outside of that mold, it's going to be a problem. You're an extremist group. Everybody in a community, okay, you think about the Holocaust. Man, that was something egregious done by their own people. That they was willing to oppress their own people of non-melanated complexion. That's crazy. They can talk about it nonstop, and everybody supposed to stop. But the minute I talk about it, it's a problem. The minute I talk about it, it's a problem. The minute I talk about us coming together, it's a problem. And I'm not talking about, see, a lot of these black leaders, they want you to come together according to terms that the system will allow. And I'm telling you, flip that system. Flip that system. MAGA. Make America great again. Great again? When has this been great for us? When have it been great for us? Flip that system. I'm talking about righteous unity. I'm talking about ecclesia unity. As we conclude, we must remember that Yahweh's command for his people is to be separate was never about hatred towards other nations, but about preserving righteousness, obedience, and covenant faith. Okay, when you look at their religion, man, they masquerade. Oh, we're so religious, holy now. All of the like the Pope. The Pope is a non-commandment keeper. The Pope himself is a non-commandment keeper. Changed the day and wrote it in a decree in law that the people should treat the Sabbath as a normal work day. But these are the people that masquerade around as holy. The Most High understood that whatever a people continually immerse themselves in will eventually shape their beliefs, value, priorities, and behavior. When Israel abandoned the ways of Yahweh and adopted the customs of the nations, they inherited the consequences that come with those customs. The same principles remain true today. If we desire strong families, righteous marriages, generational stability, spiritual freedom, and covenant blessings, we must be willing to separate ourselves from the practices that oppose the instructions of Yahweh. Why is it that when you're gonna face a lot of hate and flack when you're sitting up here trying to inform your people, hey, we shouldn't be keeping those Sunday sun worship. We shouldn't be keeping that day of Constantine. No, we should be keeping the Shabbat, the 7th day of ones, because the Most High told us in Exodus 34, it's a sign between me and his people. The path of righteousness has always required distinction from the world. While many seek acceptance, integration, comfort into worldly system, the people of Yahweh are called to seek obedience, holiness, and covenant alignment. The call to come out from among them is ultimately a call to return to the identity, the culture, the values, and the commandments that Yahweh established for his people from the beginning. The question each believer must ask is not whether the nations have influenced us, but whether we are willing to surrender those influences and fully embrace the set-apart life that Yahweh has called us to walk in. Man, I'm here today to tell you that, man, if that desire is in your heart to live set apart, you can do it. You can still do it. It ain't too late. It ain't too late, but you have to be very convicted in your decision. Man, there was a time frame where you could come out and you could be a little bit more drawn out about it. But if you wanted to come out, you still can to this day. But I want you to know that the end is near. The end is near. Every day goes on, the end is near. It's closer for your fleshly end, and you're getting closer to judgment. But you still can come out from among them. This system is trying to suck us in, and it has done a great, spectacular job of sucking us in to unrighteousness, sucking us in to a system that's going to keep us at the bottom. You got to understand, we're supposed to be the salt of the earth. One thing about salt is it adds flavor. And this flavor that this system has us adding, it's not a good one. It's a bitter taste. It's a bitter taste. Just like eating them bitter herbs when you're doing the feast. It's a bitter taste. What we represent. What we take, like what we represent. man, for you and your household, man, you have to have a plan, have to have a strategy, because where you don't have a plan, where you don't have a purpose, where you don't have a strategy, these heathens are going to give you one. And their strategy is to take advantage of you, to keep you oppressed, to keep you in bondage, for you to make them filthy rich, to make them wealthy. To make them wealthy. And at the end of the day, man, we will, rather than being a peculiar people, a holy nation, set apart, set above by the Most High Yah, we continue to be at the bottom because we want to take what they're giving us. You got to understand, okay, we're taking their loans, we're taking their financing, we're getting the worst rates, we're getting the worst deals. You got to think about it, like a lot of our children are dying in these streets, and okay, the child died with $100, $200 sneakers on their feet, died with $300 worth of clothes on, had the latest and the greatest. Baby didn't had every game system that ever came out in every game also. Where's this money coming from? We're doing the work, but we're just not putting the right stuff in the right basket. So guess what? You done made all this money, a whole lifetime. You done made somebody else rich and they done gave you a piece of it. This system, this tax system is voluntary. Because guess what? They got loopholes so they can volunteer themselves out of it. It's just, we don't know that. And you're not going to get into that until you get into business. Your baby die and you got to start a GoFundMe because ain't no money set aside for your baby. So now we got to ask other people for money to bury your own baby. You don't have no land to bury them on. Don't know how to build a box to put them in. So you go overpay. You pay $5,000 for a casket that's going to rot around in the ground. You pay $3,000 for a little tiny space for that casket to go in when you can get an acre. If bought in abundance, you can get an acre for far less than that and bury so many of our people. You have to think about it. Like, in this daytime and hour, we're the last ones to get the information. Like, we have to, like, the truth has been covered up with the intentions of us not finding it. You think about precious metals. You look at the Chinese people, man, they sitting on some precious metals. But we haven't been doing it. We didn't bought anything they didn't gave us to kind of show flash. We've taken part in. You got pocketbooks in your closet and ain't got nothing set aside. Nothing set aside. These courts don't have no problem with slapping a man with $1,200 child support in a little podunk town. So you like, your mindset as a man say, man, I got to keep money from my baby mama because the state already raping me. And then our women, when the family is separated, you don't have no guidance, you don't have no wisdom. So your thing becomes, this man is an ATM. Every time he advances in life, I need to try to gouge him for some money. I tell you, man, you can't make this stuff up. In our community, I wish some of the stuff that I gave you today was made up so it wouldn't be so hard to swallow. But this is the pill that we have to swallow and acknowledge. And I'll ask you that question. Were we better off 100 years ago, 200 years ago? Are we better off now? Are we still not the same people that when Moses was leading them out of Misraim, we wanted to run back to Misraim because we wanted to be integrated. We wanted to be Hellenized. We wanted some of that white privilege. What has it gotten us today? What has it gotten you and your household today? You got to understand, when these rap industry, these label, these 2-9s, man, I told you, they put out Minuteman insurance. When you see these little jokers come out with a song and they got the ski mask on, somebody took out a 2-9, a record label as that has taken out a Minuteman life insurance and policy. So guess what? Like that record deal that they give you, that 360 record deal that they give you, Why do you think all these independent artists died off so young? Because they were making money independently. That wasn't what the system promoted. So they give you a 360 record deal, okay? And that's an advance. So they take out a Minuteman policy, a life insurance policy. So if your album flop and it don't generate the sales and make them the revenue that they want, they don't have no problem with starting a beef with you and somebody else or your own community, and y'all offing each other. Because guess what? They're going to get a payout in the end. At the end of the day, your grandmama, your mama, they're going to have your picture on a t-shirt. They're going to have your picture on a t-shirt, and the cycle continues. Got to start taking part in their systems. Like, you have to understand, bro, right now, the NBA playoffs is going on. My sons, they like that stuff. Take us out of that. Take us out of that. And there goes, like, them on their own, they not that exciting. Them on their own, they not that exciting. Remove all the melanated people out the NBA playoffs, out the NBA, out the NFL, and think about this. A lot of these players you've seen today, you like, man, that person's rich. A lot of our women, oh, that man rich. He got this and he got that, whoop-de-whoop. But at the end of the day, the cycle continues. 2 to 3 years after they leave the league, you got people that left the league 10 years ago that's telling you what I'm telling you now. You're going to end up broke. It's a system set up for you to fail. Your managers, they're putting managers over you that's sharks to make sure, okay, look at it. Let's look at your Floyd Mayweather. This is the man that said, I'm going to buy me a wife. Rather than taking a wife, I'm going to just have all these women around and I'm going to pay them to do stuff. And then you come to find out the people that you didn't trusted from these other nations are the people that's taking advantage of you. Adrian Broner, About Billions. That was his name, About Billions. Wait a minute. Look at him now. Look at him now. We have to come out from among them. We have to come out from among them. Being an agricultural people, nobody in the United States should be dominating selling plants, selling produce. That should be us. That should be us. We should be dominating. And if you want some cotton, man, that should be us. That should be us. We should be dominating. Man, as you ride through rural areas, man, it's a website. I'm going to try to post a link. But it's a website that shows you when you're riding along and it pulls up a map. It's like Google Maps, but it shows you trust. Families that have established trust. And it shows you all this land you see, the trust that's been formed. Man, we're so far behind the power curve. You can't even get our people to do a will. A will is a setup. A will is a setup. Leave behind a will and see don't probate. Take full advantage of you. But we haven't gotten that information to trust. We don't protect our assets. Oftentimes, we don't have no assets. We buy too much house. We buy too much car. We bedazzle the wrong things. Bedazzle some soil. Bedazzle some soil with some fruit trees. With some crops. Nope. We bedazzle ears. We bedazzle license plate. We bedazzle dashboards. Rearview mirrors. We pass down nothing. Family office not established because marriage is suffering. Time for us to come out from among them. Stop giving your money to these pulpit pimps that's basically telling you Monday through Friday, ho, get my money and bring it back here on first day. I'm telling you, this is for like, is crazy. I can only imagine. You take me 8 years back and let me hear this message, I'm going to be like, what the heck is this dude talking about? But at that time, 8 years ago, man, I had taken the bait, hook, line, and sinker. A lot of us, they can't hear the message because they have so far, like, okay. Man, I saw a video the other day when it was talking about celebrities, our celebrity women, how they started off dark, melanated, skin glowing. 20 years then went by, and you didn't try to, through makeup, through process, through search, you didn't try to doggone change your eye color. Okay, these heathens aren't getting eye color enhancements to have brown eyes. What are we doing? We sitting up here trying to get their eye color. When we get contact, what are we trying to do? Trying to get blue and green eyes. Man, they had to systematically get you to hate yourself first. Get you to hate yourself first. This is something that I'm not gonna let up. And it's not hatred for the other nations. What it is understanding who the Most High Yah set apart, and why when we talk about it, they don't want us to talk about it. They don't want us to talk about it. Like, you have so many Gentiles, Goyim, that have come out and acknowledged, bro, y'all are chosen people. Y'all are the chosen people. You got world leaders that have come out and said, man, melanated people, y'all are the chosen people. But you know what? Just like the book says, Most High Yah gave you the way, told you the old path, told you the way was good. But what did the people say? We don't want to walk therein. We don't want to walk therein. We rather stay here in Misraim, where we on the bottom, because we can go get a little sack of weed. We got just enough money to get a sack of weed, to get some drink, to go buy some booty, to go buy some digging stick, and our children and the next generation is staying at the bottom because of it. We want to deck out motorcycles. We want to go to Hot Girl Summer. We want to go get BB. All of this, man, is crazy. So this is why I'm so passionate, and my conviction is so strong. Most High Yah gave us an instruction, and we are to follow it. Show me how blessed you are apart from obedience to the Most High Yah, and I'll show you a deceived black man or black woman. Gotta ask yourself, black man or black woman, who is your blessing coming from? Is your blessings coming from? Because if you're not obeying the Most High Yah, your blessings are not coming from him. That's Hasatan deceiving you. Hasatan will reward you. Like, why do you think people sell their soul to get blessed by Satan? Come on, man. Glory to the King. The King is coming. Turn from your sins. Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Once again, this is Close to the Yah Ministries, kicking that thing gun barrel straight.